Holly and I were just saying how we've been in Tampa for 5 years. And the first year that we were here, we met you when you were opening up for Taylor at our big stadium here.
Yeah, it was on Halloween.
On Halloween, right. And we were so excited to meet you and how we've just seen you transform into this like young guy who is like this mega superstar now.
Yeah, and it's really cool. And as an addition, we actually got to talk to you while we were over at Universal Studios in Orlando. And I think you were there with like some friends doing the Harry Potter stuff. We had this whole conversation about wands. So we feel like, even though you have no idea who we are probably, but like we just feel this sense of like pride seeing how far you've come.
No, thank you, first of all. And also, geez, it's like weird to hear you say that show was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I guess I was 17 years old when I was on that tour. It's like, I'm having like a old man reflection moment where I'm like, time really doesn't slow down, does it?
Right. Well, and I'm so curious because you've lived several lifetimes in just these 5 years.
That's why it seems like it was so long ago, but also not that long ago.
Maybe, yeah.
Do you ever get a chance to just sort of sit back and reflect on everything that's happened?
Well, I think that's exactly what I forcefully was given over the last, and I think everyone was over the last 6 months. And that's kind of why this song and album was birthed the way it was, Birthed is such a funny way to talk about an album. It sounds weird.
No, but you know what's interesting is that the guys in BTS actually just said the same thing about putting out a record or, in your case, an album. It really is like giving birth to something that you're showing off to the world because so much blood, sweat, and tears goes into it. So I can understand, having actually given birth myself, how you feel. It really is it's a valid comparison. And so was that what you've been doing, during like pandemic, quarantine times? I mean, you took a break, but then I assume you were also doing work.
No, yeah. I mean, I guess I went into writing the studio, and in 2 weeks we were writing some songs, and then all of a sudden it went into lockdown, and I flew to Miami, and I was living with my girlfriend in her parents' house, and it was like all of a sudden everything just went on full stop mode, and we were making dinner, and we were doing laundry and stuff that I've never done since for the last 5-7 years, and it was really actually amazing. But there was this sense of panic that I had, which was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make an album like this. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I guess when time slowed down, I did a little bit too. And I started journaling a lot. And inside of this journal that I was writing in every day, I started conceptualizing my album and the songs. And I started just reflecting on life, and all of the dark, scary stuff was hitting me at the same time as all of the pleasant, amazing stuff was hitting me. And Wonder as a song, and especially as an album, is a reflection of that. It really feels like, something I learned was that you really don't have to be a expert in matters of the heart to be able to talk about it in your music. You kind of just have to follow that moral compass and be like, this is right and this is wrong, and this is how I feel, and this is going to reach a lot of people, and this is hopefully going to inspire people and make people feel something that they didn't a day ago. And that really came to me a lot. I mean, and that's just the tip of the iceberg of kind of like, I think what happened internally during the whole quarantine process. And I don't want to assume, but I imagine that for a lot of people, it was a similar kind of situation.
I think you're right.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people were they didn't know what to do. I mean, honestly, no one has ever been faced with this before. So, I mean, for you, you got to sort of experience quote unquote normal life in Miami for a while, where you're like, this is amazing, but also what's the end of it? Like, what's the end game? And so to be able to capture it as you were journaling, which I think was so smart. And I mean, as an artist, is it something that you do regularly, or was that a pandemic thing?
I'd never journaled before in my life until the pandemic, actually. And now I can't stop. Incredible. I do it so much.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
Totally.
Yeah. So, and I'm imagining once that starts flowing, like paper to pen or keyboard, however it comes out, those emotions just get to the top of the surface, and then there's finally some place for them to go. And I'm really glad you started doing that, because it sounds like this song and this album was just like a stream of conscious, almost. Would you say?
It is. It totally is. It has so many layers to it, and I think that, you know, it's still happening where people are like only wanting to listen to like Bon Iver and light some candles and get a warm hug from the music.
Yes,
and I am
absolutely.
one of those people. Yeah. And I'm definitely one of those people, but at the same time, it's like, be reminded that like life also is something to celebrate. And, you know, I was really hoping to make a song that made people feel both, and have like the intimacy that you felt from the Bon Iver stuff. And also at the end, it feels like a real celebration of freedom that we're working for. And we're kind of moving in that direction of. And I think that it really is a song that I'm proud of, and an album that I'm proud of. Once you guys eventually hear that, I think top to bottom, if you listen to it, you're going to feel this essence and this world of wonder. And yeah, I don't want to ramble on too much.
No, you're fine. You can tell that you are so inspired, which is so cool, because when you hear the passion coming from someone about this art that you did birth, it's so exciting and inspiring to hear. But I'm so curious. So like, you know, you have your journal and you've sort of been taking these moments in time and putting them into song. How do you choose from, I'm assuming, so much material on what's going to become your album?
I guess there just becomes a point when, like, you know, there was a moment where I was like, I need this album to sound like this. I need it to be this. And that just ends up making you spiral into a panic, because it can't just become that. And there comes a day where you're like, you know what, this is going to be whatever it's going to be. And I'm not, you know, a Zen master over here. So I'm not saying that I've completely mastered that, but I'm saying I started practicing the thing of just like showing up, having some concepts, and just seeing what was biting that day, and just surrendering to that, because like fighting it and trying to control it was just going to be exhausting and maybe get me nowhere. So I found that the more I would let go and the more I would surrender, to just the album is going to be what it's going to be. The song's going to be what it's going to be. And I really do care and love it. You know, it just ended up working out in my favor for me. And I hope that people can sense that there's more freedom in this. I let the reins go a little bit with this album and this song especially.
Then I think that choosing to say that you birthed this album is right. Because again, I'm just relating it to a parent, you know, myself. I have a 7-year-old daughter, and you try and you plan, and you're like, my kid is going to be this, and I'm going to make sure she does this. In the end, this is a whole fully separate human. And you have to let go and feel like, you know, okay, who are you going to be in the world? And that's what this album is. And can I say, we've heard the song. I was floored. I was like, this is a blend of like so many different textures and feelings, and it's incredible. So
it's powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
It's one of those songs that when you listen to it the first time, you get the goosebumps, because you can feel the passion from it. Shawn, what I want to ask you as we wrap this up is, you know, you talked about being nervous at first because you are creating this, and what are people going to say and how is it going to be? And we've been talking a lot on our show about social media and how, you know, we're doing it for this person and we're doing it for that and for the likes, and how we got to move beyond that and just do it for ourselves. What would you tell some of your fans that have that anxiety, that are young, that, you know, are living their life on social media? How do you work past that and you just live it for yourself?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that it's insanely hard, and to like try to downplay the fact that it's not is just very wrong. And, you know, no matter how wise or how many books you read or how much you know about anxiety or whatever, it doesn't change the fact that like we're living inside of a social media run world, and it feels almost impossible to not participate in it, you know, and kind of take care of yourself. All I would say is that at some point you're going to realize and if you haven't already, that you're the only person that you have to live with. Like when at nighttime, when everything goes quiet and you close your eyes, there's only one person you're left with in that head, and it's you, and it's your heart. And there's a practice that I have, and this is me gonna get, I'm gonna get cheesy for a second, but like in this journal, I finish my journal entry every day with "Love you, man, got your back." And I think that there is this sense of disassociation that people have with themselves because this is constant comparison to everybody else because of social media. And I think like this is not something that's going to change overnight for everyone. This is something that is a practice, and start practicing realizing that all you have is you, and you need to have your own back, because when you close your eyes and things go quiet, it's just you in there. So whether it's journaling or whether it's like giving yourself an hour in the morning before you turn your phone on, or an hour at night before you go to sleep, where you turn off and you let yourself kind of take care of you, start doing it now, because it only gets harder the longer you're doing social media and the more you get inside of that world. And I do think I think that you can do both. I think you can care about social media and be a part of it, but at the same time understand that it doesn't define you how many likes you have, and it doesn't define you how many followers you have. It really just matters if you like you, and if you love you. And it is probably oversaid and kind of overheard, but I really think that it's just so important. If there's any kids listening, or if there's any teenagers listening, if there's adults listening, I don't think there's an age that defines how old or young you are to hear this.
No.
Just be there for you and have your own back, and love you, and give yourself some credit, and like just surrender a little bit, because life is really hard. It's really hard to just be human, and on top of that, we have to meet all these standards of what we think we should be comparing to people's highlight reels, and just give yourself a break and take a breath, because I think that especially in these times, nothing is more important than that right now. And moving forward, it's always going to be the most important thing. You are the most important, so I don't want to keep going all off about it, but I just think that it is really important. And I know that people like you guys are constantly speaking on air every day, and you have the ability to really spread that message. And it's amazing. And I feel from you both that you definitely are doing that. So yeah, anyway.
Shawn Mendes,
Yes.
You are an incredible adult man. You have turned into someone that is a force to be reckoned with a beautiful message. And it is so exciting to have a tiny little part of that journey as we've watched you grow into someone who is a self-actualized person. That's awesome.
Thank
what you
you.
just said. Thank you.
And the fact that you're going to keep going with it is awesome too. So thank you for sharing. That is impeccable advice for, you're right, not just a kid or teenager, but anyone listening. Please follow Shawn Mendes' advice. That is incredible. Thank
we
you so
will.
much.